Athens, Greece. With its history spanning back more than 3,400 years, there's something for everyone. Today, I'll show you some of the highlights you're probably going to want to see if you're planning to visit there. First, let's get into travel mode and take off. Layover in New York, so we've already flown almost 6 hours, and now it's like 10 more hours to go. I can't believe I'm not even halfway there yet. All right, so I've made it into Greece. I am exhausted right now. That was about 18 or so hours of travel. Made it to my little hotel, but it's in a community called, I'll spell it up here on the screen, but I was just starving, so I found a little cafe on the street, and I'm just walking around. Really a cool neighborhood with just little street markets, very small little walkable alleys. My first exploration of Athens here, first half hour of it anyway. I'll show you around a bit. So walking through Monastiraki, walking to the Acropolis, crossing this little street here, and I will show you in about 10 seconds the view to Acropolis right on top of the hillside here. So one of the things I'm finding quite interesting is, so for someone like me, I've never actually done a lot of studying about Greece or anything. So I'm coming into it as a very, very basic traveler, new to it, but I'm really fascinated by what I'm learning. So the Acropolis is actually the name. That just means the top hilltop. So there could be many Acropolises or Acropoli throughout Greece, but the Acropolis is where we're going. And the famous building at the site of the Acropolis, the location is going to be the Parthenon. So the Parthenon is actually the historic building. The name Acropolis just means it's the hilltop. So it's one and the same. I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be multiple things I needed to see, but really that's one and the same. So making my way up here. Again, just really cool streets, clean. Very clean. And especially in this neighborhood, which I guess is the tourist zone. Like I said, the neighborhood is called Monastiraki. The other piece of difficulty that I'm having is with the Greek language. So I have a pretty good grasp of Spanish, and at least enough to be able to see on a sign or something what it might be. But when you see Greek, I'll show you an example. There's really nothing at all similar. You can't make out the letters. Check this. The Greek is at the top, and that apparently is a bathhouse that way. So not in a million years would you think that those letters somehow represented bathhouse this way, right? So that's the difficulty you have. The Greek alphabet, right? Look at the street sign. Street sign, and where I'm going, Acropolis. Okay, so we're here, the Parthenon right behind me. So you'll see when you come up here, there's several of these structures and incredible viewpoints throughout. You're at the highest point here in all of Athens. It's really pretty incredible to see this. Next up, I check out the Acropolis Museum, which is right across the street. Now, it's a completely separate building compared to the Acropolis and Parthenon, and it has a separate entry fee as well. I checked out the museum, lots of statues and ancient artifacts as you might expect. And then under the building there are some ancient ruins you can look at. I then leave the museum and I head toward this park area which has many sites like the Temple of Zeus, the ancient Olympic Stadium, and other sites. So this is an example. This is a random archaeological site in the middle of the city. This is just next to a subway station where they said that they were digging actually to make part of a subway ventilation, and they discovered this underneath the ground, and so they preserved it as an archaeological site. You'll find these things throughout Athens. It's pretty wild. All kinds of history and archaeological stuff going on here. I then check out the Panathenaic Stadium, which was home to the first ever modern Olympic Games in 1896. You can buy a ticket to go inside for, I think it was $5, but you can also get an idea just by standing outside and looking at it. Next, I walk back through that park I had told you about, and I find myself in a famous shopping area called the Plaka. Okay, so this is the area they call Plaka, which is just these streets that run through. It's the old town Athens, but it's just a lot of streets with sidewalk cafes, little shops, boutique shops, some clothing. Some stuff is more souvenir-like, but it's just a nice place to walk around. Really clean, really nice. Coffee shops, restaurants. Plaka is the neighborhood, but apparently it goes all around this.
Everyone's stopping by and yeah, a little shocked.
Does it feel good?
No, feels sick.
Feels funny? Like
Feels very funny. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so I found my way to the Monastiraki flea market, which, as you can see here, just a narrow strip of a road here that has shops on both sides. Kind of reminds me of the Santee Alley, if you've ever been there in Los Angeles, downtown LA, except a little cleaner and a little more high-end here. But the same idea. Every shop's got trinkets and a lot of those luggage and bags and belts. Just kind of exploring here. A lot of leather goods. Monastiraki flea market area. But walking through here, what I found even more interesting are some of these side alleys. You'll find more interesting wares and stuff, more of an actual flea market. You would think of used items, antique dishes, candle holders, furniture. More of an interesting kind of, I'm not a big fan of these shops that just have, the t-shirts and stuff like that. But let me show you, I think, what I think of when I see a flea market, which is what you have here in this little square. And this is the Athens Central Market, which is all in the same area as that flea market that I just showed you. All right, so I'm eating these little pita kebabs. Well, they're not little, they're like full size. And the girl told me, the waitress, she told me to get two, but they're huge. And they're only $2.50 each. So something like this would have been easily $7 or $8 back in the US. $2.50 per piece. So now I'm just kind of exploring aimlessly. I'm in a little neighborhood called Exarcheia, which is a very local neighborhood. Tons of graffiti, tons of street art. Just a real interesting vibe going on here. You really feel that kind of European rocker attitude. Show you some of this street art. Okay, so I just came upon this protest. Seems to be some type of anti-Nazi protest or something. There's like Nazi signs with like a fist through it, and then this X through and stuff like that. I don't know what's happening. Then there's a whole police force that's escorting these folks as they walk in the protest. So it's pretty interesting. It's actually 4 or 5 blocks long, solid people. All right, I'll give you a little feeling of what it's like to walk around here at night. It's quite crowded. A lot of people out. A lot of people are eating dinner late. You know, it's about 9 o'clock in the evening. People are getting just sitting down for dinner. Live music. But yeah, it feels very safe. You know, families are out, young people enjoying themselves for the evening. Pretty cool atmosphere. The Syntagma Square. Interesting for a walkthrough. A lot of government buildings around here. Across the street is a big parliament building with tons of security. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour of Athens, and hopefully that gives you some ideas for your visit. Thanks for watching. See you next time.